And welcome to the UMBC Coaches Corner. I'm Gary Stein, and today's subject is basketball. We have women's and men's basketball, and we'll start with women's. Johnetta Hayes, the head coach of UMBC in her third year, and Danae Marquez, the point guard grad from Fresno, California, joining us. Ladies, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Johnetta, let's start with you. The record I know is not what you want at this point, but just tell us a little bit about where the team is right now and what you're kind of seeing on the floor.
I think right now our team is in a place of transition, trying to figure out how to win and how to play together to win. We've shown some really good spurts, and then we've shown some times where we don't know what to do with the basketball. But with that being said, it's a part of the transition. It's a part of where we are start to where we need to go to finish later.
I think one of the big things also, and we can talk about it as part of that transition, and Danae can certainly talk about this, is the graduate transfers and the transfers in general that you have. You had not only to build a basketball team, but to take a lot of disparate parts and put them all together with 5 transfers coming in. So what has that been like for you so far?
Again, a roller coaster ride of just change for them. You know, doing something a different way, and everyone coming from a different place learning to do it one way has been a transition. But also with the transfers, you have, you know, injuries or different sorts that keep them off the court. So we just need to get some consistency and have healthy bodies all together so we continue to grow.
And so speaking of change, Danae, I want to talk to you about this. This is a major change for you to come from Fresno, California. You played 4 years at San Jose State. Now you're 3,000 miles away from everybody that you love and know, right? So not only basketball, but also personal. So tell us about the last few months for you and what this transition has been like.
Yeah, definitely. You know, coming out here, it was supposed to be for me to grow on and off the court, to kind of taking it as an opportunity. I think this opportunity is one of a lifetime. On the court, you know, like Coach said, we're all coming from different places where I just spent the last 4 years learning from one person, one system, and we're all kind of just transforming into, you know, the UMBC way. I think we're just, you know, we're taking strides up with the few down, like she said, a roller coaster. But I think overall, you know, we all have one common goal, and we're all just trying to put it together.
So even though you're a grad transfer, because you have all this new lingo and stuff to learn and the way to play, do you kind of feel like a freshman almost in that sense?
You know, when I came in the summer, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, there was a time I was like, man, what am I out here to do? But now, you know, I think I'm kind of growing into my role. You know, I'm playing point guard. I'm kind of, you know, learning how to control, trying to see what Coach Hayes wants, you know, on and off the court. And I think as we build our relationship, you know, it's only growing us even more as a team on the court, kind of just transferring.
How did you find her?
Well, Danae was in the portal. As you know, the portal is the new way to go. But once we got on a call with her, she was really easy. She was very honest, very open, and she fit, I think, our staff. Like, I think overall, just the communication, it didn't seem forced like we were reading from a paper. Sometimes you guys, like when people call recruits, PSAs, you're reading from a paper or you're asking certain questions a certain way to say, hey, I asked this question, I asked that question. But I think Danae did a good job of taking her time, really getting a feel for what would be the best place for her to be. And so it was an easier transition because of that.
How many calls were you on when you were looking to transfer?
You know, I had limited to a top 3, but my top 2 was between Little Rock, Arkansas, and then here. But I had told Coach Lewis, who was like mostly recruiting me, I had said, like, I really just want to build a relationship with the coaches that I'm going to, because I was going to go far away. And I think, you know, the staff here really tried to get to know me off the court, and that's what mattered because, like you said, I'm 3,000 miles away, so who's going to be there for me?
Right.
I just got that family feel, and it was consistency. It wasn't about, you know, kissing my butt. They were letting me know what I needed to improve on, and I really liked that.
Why did you want to move 3,000 miles away?
I was only 2.5 hours away at San Jose State. My family was able to come to games. My mom was able to come when I needed her, all that stuff, and I really wanted to grow as a person. You know, kind of just embracing change to see if I could live on my own and do this on my own. And so far, it's been good. It's been a good change. I've been adapting well. I'm surrounded by great people, so that also helps.
Yeah. So a final question on that. So a lot of times when a young man or you know, a young lady choose a grad school, right, that's where they're going to end up. because they get exposed to companies or corporations, or that, whatever they studied, they may make contacts in that.
Yeah.
So do you have any thoughts about that yet, or do you plan on going back to California?
California is home. Coach was just asking me this a couple weeks ago, actually, and I'm like, I'm going to end up in California at some point in my life, but I do see myself being out here for a long time, probably not until I get older, want to settle down while I try to head back out there.
Gotcha. Okay.
You should ask her what older means. It could be 25 for her.
Okay, well,
I'm
what does that mean?
I'm talking about like 40s, like down the line.
Oh, that's
down the line.
Old.
Yeah, I don't even remember those days.
Sorry.
But regardless of that, back to the court. So I asked you where you were right now. What would you like to see? You've got the game tomorrow night. What would you like to see? And you've been on the road 5 straight games, so that was, I'm sure, not an easy thing to do. But before you get into conference play, you've got a couple of weeks and maybe 2 or 3 more games. What would you like to see from your team?
I think tomorrow night and moving forward, I would just like to see us play a complete game. Compete for 40 minutes versus 30. If we can compete for 40 minutes and keep our tempo great things will happen. We have some lapses here and there, and then we shut down. In the midst of a shutdown, they may make a run. I know basketball's a game of runs, but we have to do a better job just completing assignments. And when we're able to do that, great things will happen.
And as far as the team is concerned, shooting-wise, three-point shooting, I was reading where in the West Coast style of basketball, the three-point shot is a lot more, I don't know what you call it, prominent, more important, we'll just say, as opposed to the East Coast basketball. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, definitely so far, I think it might just be a style of programs. Every coach has different philosophies. I think here it's a little bit different. I do think we might have a couple more shooters this year than in the past, so we're just trying to figure out how to utilize them while having post play. And I think in the realm of doing that, we're experiencing a roller coaster.
Right.
But I think it's all for one common goal, eventually to get dubs.
So you as the point guard, though, you're basically the extension of Johnetta out there on the floor.
Definitely.
So not only do you have to get acclimated to a new lifestyle and new people, but you have to kind of be a leader. And this is your first foray into the East Coast. Does that add anything like on your shoulders, or how do you feel about that?
No, definitely not. I think me and Coach Hayes have a very good, open, and honest relationship as far as what we expect out of one another, and I think respect comes into that a lot. And so we're able to progress and kind of move forward without that, the shoulder, the pressure, all of that stuff, and I think that's why it's been mostly positive. The negative, obviously, losses, but positive in every other aspect.
So with all these grad transfers that have come in, I've always felt, obviously everybody looks forward to college basketball, but it just happens to start at the time when all the holidays start to come.
Right.
And so now you've got the grad transfers, and maybe they didn't go home for Thanksgiving, or maybe they did and they're not going home for Christmas, or vice versa, just the opposite. So from an off-the-court perspective, how do you kind of make it into a family so that everybody who doesn't have loved ones around may still be part of something and, enjoy with, friends, etc.?
Well, I think, you definitely want to force it, and they do a good job together. Doing things on their own, but for us, we spent Thanksgiving together. We didn't keep your day too long, but we did have a good Thanksgiving meal. We sat down together, really nice, and enjoyed the company of each other. But for Christmas, everyone will be at home. So we planned ahead to make sure that we got the dates early. They knew so they can have 4 or 5 days at home, so we can have our stretch, once we get back, because we'll be together. But we do have our annual Christmas pajama party, which will be great. And tomorrow we'll pull names for our Secret Santas. Our Christmas tree will go up, and we're just trying to get in the holiday spirit and kind of, bring our team along. So a gift to us would be winning a few games before the break as well.
Right. So I've got to ask you, so you have your annual Christmas pajama party, right?
Yes.
So does that mean that everybody's going to show up to practice in pajamas?
Not to practice.
Not to practice.
This is off. This is away from basketball.
Okay.
It's just our time together. This year it may be on the road actually, which would be fun. But we play games. We learn a lot about their talents. We pretty much know each other. Like everyone kind of knows what the next person can do. But you'll be surprised what happens when you have this talent show. It gets really lively and it's for real. So it's fun. They seem to really enjoy it, and especially when the coaches, kind of string some things along and do things too. So they like to see us do things.
So you're going to take video of it, right? You'll put it up on Instagram.
Most definitely. We have something
stuff?
yesterday from our strength conditioning coach for his birthday. So it was pretty neat.
So Danae, what is your talent that you want to do for the pajama party?
If I would have known, I would have saved my worm.
Well, now you know.
I can do the worm, and I would have saved that.
But you did it for your birthday.
I did it for my birthday, so, I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to figure it out.
Okay, well, I'm glad we did the show. So
Right.
now you've got some time.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, hey, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that and what you're doing for the program and all these young ladies coming in from all over the country, and you're making them feel at home, and that's the most important thing. And for you, you're going to have a lot to talk about when you go back home for Christmas. So thanks for coming here, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
I also want to remind everybody that the Student Athlete Advisory Council is going to host a toy drive at the game on Thursday. Fans may bring new or lightly used toys. They'll be donated to the Chesapeake Arena on Thursday, and they will be donated to the Children's Home in Catonsville. And remember, a final thing, it's a 5:30 tip-off time Thursday evening, UMBC women's basketball against Lafayette. Johnetta, Danae, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we come back, it'll be the men's side. Jim Ferry will join us right after this as UMBC Coach's Corner continues. And the UMBC Coaches Show continues here with head men's basketball coach Jim Ferry. And Jim, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Gary. Doing great. Thanks.
Good to see you. And you've got a big game tonight against Georgetown, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But here we are, 8 games into the season. You guys are 5-3. The big win at Pitt, which everybody is still talking about. But where are you guys? You've had a chance now to kind of assess and just tell me the state of the team right now.
You know what? I think we're pretty inconsistent, like a lot of teams. I think it's early basketball. I think we're trying to find ourselves. I think, when we play a certain way, when we play with great energy and unselfishness and really share the basketball and play with a great pace, we could be really dynamic. We've had games where we scored in the 90s, even Pitt, we scored 88. And then we have some games where, we allow teams to dictate what we're doing and the ball gets stuck and we're not guarding with the same discipline or same aggressiveness and, we're scoring 60. So we're that team right now. We've worked on it, we watched a lot of tape, and I'm trying to be that consistent team and trying to get these guys to just play one way no matter who we're playing against, when we're playing, where we're playing. And obviously on the road it's always more difficult to do it. So, but we're working at it. Guys are working really hard. The word we're using is connected, trying to just stay connected in everything we do.
And connected is interesting because after talking with you and listening to some of the post-game stuff, one of the things that you were most proud of was the connectedness that you guys were on defense. There were a couple of games there, I think it was against AU, even against Pitt for the most part, although they challenged you in the second half for sure. Talk about that connectedness on defense and what that actually means between the 5 men that are on the court.
Yeah, it's basically it's all 5 guys guarding the ball, all 5 guys moving together on every pass. All 5 guys got to be moving. In every action that we're dealing with, all 5 guys got to be involved with it. A lot of people look at ball screen defense as those 2 guys in the ball screen action, but for us, it's the whole 5 guys. And when we're connected, it's both defensively and offensively. I mean, you see the connectivity when we have 20 assists, 19 assists, and he's scoring, 98 points. And then the other night, for example, I think we had 8 assists. Well, we're not going to win. We're not that team that's a one-on-one team. We're a team. We need all of our parts working well together. And when we do that, we find success.
One of your favorite saying is let the ball find the shot.
Yes, and that's just who we are, Are we a great three-point shooting team? Not really. As individuals, we're not. And I think we're good three-point shooters. But when we take team three-point shots, then we can be spectacular when we're making 11 and 12. Because one guy's making 1, another guy's making 2, another guy's making 1, another guy's making 2. And then the ball's moving and we find a shot. That's when we can be really dynamic.
I'm going to give you 3 names and then I'm going to give you a stat, which I'm sure you probably know. Spasojevic, Obeng Mensah, and Wojcik, the 3-headed monster that you like to call him. If you add all their stats up over a 40-minute game, it's about 19 points and 17 rebounds per game. and they play, 12, 10, 8, whatever it is, etc. That is something that has to be pleasing you right now.
Yeah, very much so. And what's pleasing me is those 3 guys buying into it. They're really being unselfish and understanding that this is who we are, and we're going to play that. And sometimes one guy plays better than the other guy. I'll give him a little bit more minutes or whatever the flow is. But I thought that was a big reason we struggled against Delaware. Not having Meach, with Meach being out injury-wise and then being big and physical. We only had 2 of the guys, and we got worn down. I think we would have had that 3rd guy. We could have played more to our way defensively and offensively.
Another facet of the team, and I didn't check the stats this week as we entered play against Georgetown tonight, but I know last week you were the #1 free throw shooting team in the country.
We're not anymore.
Okay, but you're probably still up there. But that is something that UMBC has not historically been a great free throw shooting team, and I just wonder, what happened here? Do you practice it more?
Yeah,
Are they better? What's happening?
First of all, I think we're doing a good job of getting fouled. We're making more free throws than our opponent's attempt, which is huge. Which is a big philosophy of mine and a lot of coaches in this profession. But it's the ability to get the right guys fouled, and we do. We put some time in it, and we instill confidence. And to me, free throw shooting is confidence. But it's not like we're shooting 100 free throws a day every day.
Right.
I've had teams I've done that with, and they were awful free throw shooting teams. And then I've had teams that we haven't even shot that much, and you're great free throw shooting teams. Right now, we're shooting about 76%. I think we were 76% the other night, and I think that's kind of what we are. If we can shoot, I've always looked at it, if you can make more free throws than your opponent's attempt, if you can get to the foul line, 19, 20 times a game and shoot 75%, you're going to win a lot of games.
So one of the keys to shooting more free throws or making more free throws than your opponent attempts is not fouling.
Correct.
And you've talked about that. You say our goal is to not foul a lot.
Correct.
How do you teach that?
Well, with discipline. We hold our guys accountable with it in practice. We address it. We show film on it. There's certain fouls that are going to happen. You got to make sure you clean up the fouls that you can control. There's no reason for them to get a defense rebound unless slap at the ball 100 feet away from the basket. That's not a really good foul. Some of the fouls that occur off the ball, we got to clean those up. So the key is to try to not let the team get to the double bonus in either half. And you can do that. And being smart. We talk about playing with our hands up, showing our hands to the official, really walling up instead of trying to block shots. We're not that team. So we're just trying to be smart in what we do, play really hard, play really physical. And again, talking about being connected. If you're not leaving a guy out on an island and he knows he's got people behind him protecting the space, then we can play with better positioning instead of fouling.
Let's talk a little bit about Georgetown tonight. This is a team that UMBC played last year, actually, and played them extremely well. They went down to the last 3 or 4 minutes. What do you expect, and what's the goal here? Well, the goal is obviously to win, but what do you expect tonight?
Yeah, it is going to be a tough game. I mean, they play really hard. They're really athletic. They're really physical. They're fast. They're tremendous on the glass. Patrick's got those guys playing really hard together too. He lost some guys from last year's team, but it's going to be a game about the paint. We're going to have to really protect the paint, protect them against penetration, and then once the ball goes up on the glass, we got to be able to block them out and win the glass. When we win the glass, we win games, and we didn't do that the other night, and it showed. With us, it's going to be a toughness game with us playing offense the right way, because they're going to come after us. They have athleticism. They really play really hard and physical. So we have to play with great substance offensively so that we play the way we want to play and get the game at the pace that we want the game played at. So I think if we can handle those two on each side of the ball, we'll give ourselves a chance.
I want to take you back to the Pitt game for just a moment and the post-game locker room up on Twitter. I guess UMBC posted it. You walked in with Josh Pelletier, one of your assistants, and I don't know if you were expecting this or not, to be honest with you, but you started getting pelted with water, and it was a celebration. It was quite a little Twitter there. I really liked it anyway.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about that post-game celebration.
Well, it's always great for the guys, man. I've been coaching so long. I've won games like that and lost games like that. So, I wasn't expecting it. I was coming in just to talk to them about how proud I was of the effort that they gave and again, how things played out when we played to the game plan. And then they kind of got me. So got my hair wet, got my clothes wet, but you know what? For a win like that, it's certainly enjoyable.
You still look pretty good. The hair was still in place.
Yeah, well, this hair doesn't really do anything. It ain't going anywhere.
Tell me about it. Hey, anyway, happy holidays to you.
Yes, you too.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. You brought some energy here, and it's very, very much appreciated.
Well, I appreciate it.
And well known. Thank you.
Yeah, well, happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah. And happy holidays to you. And that'll do it for the UMBC Coaches Corner. I'm Gary Stein. He's Jim Ferry. And we'll be back with more next year, the calendar year. So take care and have a great holiday.